Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 85 of Weight Loss Wednesday. We haven't done a live, well actually I was going to say we haven't done a live Weight Loss Wednesday in a long time, but we actually did one last week. But we're doing another one today, and we're going to do some cooking. We're going to make two amazing recipes, including the Smackin Mouthwatering Kale from page 128 of my new book, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. Now, some of you complained that I held Bailey and didn't wash my hands. So after I put her down, I'm gonna wash my hands. But you're not eating this anyway, so what do you care, really? I just wanted to show you how cute she looks because she's been groomed today. She actually lost 0.2 pounds right after the haircut. And if you want to meet her in person, she will be at the Live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference in Vegas. So thank you so much, Bailey. And washing my hands, look, with water and soap, just like a big girl. I was told you're supposed to sing happy birthday when you wash your hands in your head, and that's how you know that you've actually washed your hands long enough. So there we go. I'm sure somebody's going to complain the fact that I used a paper towel, because we're going to talk about complaining actually in a little bit later in the broadcast. And first, let's get started with the cooking. So before I show you the Lip Smackin Mouthwatering Kale on page 128 of The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, get a copy today and unprocessed if you don't have it, I'm going to show you an incredible, delicious vegetable medley that I tasted at my friend's house this weekend when I was speaking at the Spokane Veg Fest. And if you're watching from Spokane, you guys are great, great city, great people. Thanks, Josh, for putting on an awesome Veg Fest. Great seeing all the UWLers at the potluck. This is awesome, by the way. If you can get one, it fits both the 6-quart and the 8-quart. It's great for making mashed potatoes like I showed you in episode 55. It is so easy. It's so much better than the rack that comes with it, in my opinion. It was about $19 on Amazon. So we are using the 8-quart Instant Pot because it's the biggest. You gotta get a big one, guys, even if you have a little one, because otherwise you're not gonna have enough food to eat for the week and doing batch cooking. And then you can make all my recipes like my cauliflower bisque. If you don't have one, get the 8-quart. If you have the 6-quart, get the 8-quart. Use my code AJ for $10 off. So this is called Layered Instant Pot Vegetable Medley that my friends made for me a year ago, and then I totally forgot how delicious it was, and then they made it again, and it was completely different. It's completely different every time. And guys, if you want a written recipe, get the book. When I make up, well, I didn't make this up, my friend did, but when I'm doing no recipe recipes, I can't write them down because I don't know what the recipe is, because I'm making it up. And honestly, this is a free service I provide that actually takes a lot longer than you would think in terms of post-production and setup. I don't have time to type the recipes, and then my little tiny iPhone, it's really hard. So if you want written recipes, I have 3 books. Most of the recipes I've been doing lately are just stuff I'm making up. So pretty easy. So it doesn't matter what vegetables you use. You just want to use ones you like or ones you have in the fridge. The one I made on Sunday for dinner, it was completely different. I used beets, I used butternut squash. This is what I'm using today. So it's just layering vegetables. You want to put the heavier or the denser ones on the bottom. That's the way you always do it. So I'm starting with some organic carrots, and I didn't even cut them up any fancy way. I just kind of cut them. So I'm putting them on the bottom of the Instant Pot. You always want to have something starchy in there, just because otherwise it won't be satiety. It'll make it really delicious. I'm using organic delicata squash, about 1.5 pounds. That was a little bit more than 1 pound of carrots. This is a really delicious squash. I've done it with butternut squash. Ideally, I would love to do it with parsnips, but I just can't find them this time of year. It would probably also be great with sweet potatoes. So now I'm going to layer that on top. So again, I only put in stuff I like, and I pretty much like every vegetable. Purple cabbage, I just love it so much. This is a 8-ounce bag. So I'm putting that in on top. And there was just a few mushrooms left, so what the heck, let's put those in. You gotta have onion, in my opinion, especially in sultry cooking. No onion, no flavor. So I've got the sweet onions, and I quartered them, and I'm putting those in top. And then I'm going to have to go behind Eden and grab one thing that I forgot to grab. I just love. This makes everything delicious. This blend of fire roasted bell pepper, trio, and onion from Trader Joe's just makes everything delicious. And this is delicious as a standalone. When I've come home from traveling, there's nothing in the house, I eat this with some rice and maybe some salt-free sauerkraut that's in the fridge or some hot sauce. Delicious filling meal. People that are in Ultimate Weight Loss that eat Cru, if you don't know what Cru is, you're not in Ultimate Weight Loss, consider joining for support. This is delicious like this. Now, not every store has this, but every store I've been to, including Kroger's and Ralph's, has bell pepper and onion in the freezer section. It's just not fire roasted. Fire roasted doesn't make it hot, it just gives it flavor. Because somebody had said, oh, they don't want to do my recipes with fire roasted tomatoes, they don't like spicy. Fire roasting just means roasting on fire. It's not hot, it's just more flavorful. So I like to always put one of these over the top. Dean, you want to get a close-up of that, just in case people want to see what's going on with that. And now, how much water? You have to add some water to the Instant Pot or it's not going to work. So it just depends how schmutzy you want it. That's a word I'm making up for like soft and whatever. And how much time, it depends too. That's why these recipes have no recipes. It's up to you. You need at least a cup of water. That's what I'm putting in now. I'm doing this more this time as standalone vegetables. When I did it on Sunday, I put 2 cups of water. I had some beets in there that needed it, and also I cooked it for longer because I wanted it more like soup. But this we want more like vegetables that we can eat by themselves for breakfast, over a grain, all through the week. So I am going to do it, believe it or not, on 0 minutes. And hopefully it'll be ready before, oops, that's too much, before the end of the broadcast. And then we're going to do a quick release. So let's push that aside right now. And of course you could add garlic to this, you could add anything you want. So now I would like to answer the most excellent question from Bruce that he emailed me. Everything okay, Eden? You had a funny look on your face. And
do you want to explain the 0 minutes thing? Because that might confuse
Yeah,
some
so 0 minutes is no minutes. It still has to come up to pressure, but once it comes up to pressure, it's going to beep that we don't need it. So you can go from, apparently I've just noticed, from 1 to 240 minutes on that. So 0 minutes, and I'm doing it at high pressure. So like if I'm going to cook zucchini in my Instant Pot, I'm going to do it at 0 minutes, probably at low pressure, or it's going to be schmutz. But you're going to see these are still good. Oh, did I forget something? I did. Oh my goodness. I forgot the Brussels sprouts. Oh gosh, I hope there's room. Brussels sprouts are so good in here. See, this is why you need the 8-quart. This wouldn't fit in a 6-quart. Organic Brussels sprouts. There you go. Whoops. All right. Now it's going to be even better. Those are fine on top. So good. This is good. All right. So this is going to be delicious. I don't put any seasoning on it. It doesn't need it, but feel free to use any seasoning you want. And always remember to condiment responsibly. So one of the reasons I wanted to do the live broadcast is because of just to answer this question from Bruce, because I figured it would take me a long time to type the answer, and this way I can send him a video of the answer and y'all get to see it too. By the way, we did a poll on Facebook to see if you guys would prefer this live or on YouTube, which I usually put on within 24 hours, and 86% said most of the people watch it on YouTube, so that's why we're not doing as many of these live. We shot a bunch in advance with recipes from the book, so anyway, as long as you watch it, really doesn't matter to me how, but thank you for being here live if you're here, because then you can ask questions in real time. And you can share it in real time just by pushing the share button. Hello, Chef AJ. Hello, Bruce. I recently purchased your UWL book, and I'm trying out many of the Instant Pot recipes. There's quite a few in there, by the way. However, I was wondering if somewhere on your website you might have a complete list of all your recommended spices. I get busy making a recipe and then I find out that I don't have a key spice in my spice rack that you are recommending. I will happily go out and buy all of the recommended spices at once to avoid this, so I'm hoping that somewhere you have a complete list online. If not, can you list a few that are out of the ordinary, like smoked cumin, etc.? My wife and I have been on the all-organic, whole food, plant-based diet for almost 2 years, and our medical visits are now within normal ranges for our age, 68, 69, but now it's time to reduce the oils and sugars, and that's where your UWL book should get us to. Thanks, Bruce. So thank you, Bruce. And I don't have a list on the website. However, if we ever do anything with the book where we have to, like, there are a couple of mistakes, and eventually we'll fix it, but to do that we have to take it off Amazon, which it being so new, we're not going to do. That is a great idea for a resource list. I love it. And I'm going to do that. And maybe I'll even just put it somewhere where I can email it to people. There is a list of what I think people should buy and always have on hand, but I never thought to do it with the must-haves or the spices. So we've taken things out of the cabinet because it's just easier than Eden sticking her hand through the, in the cabinet where it's dark, you wouldn't be able to see it. So I took out the spices or the things I feel are necessary for you to do. Now, remember, we're talking every recipe in the book. There's 117 recipes. You may not like certain recipes or want to do them, so you don't need everything. But I'm just going to show you what I have on hand for my recipes. And again, some of these things, let's talk about this first. You don't have to buy Beet Boost. Absolutely. There's one ice cream dessert recipe that I did a few episodes ago. I like this product. I use it every day in my hibiscus tea, especially when I'm on the spin bike. My partner JP has a code JP16. He swears by it. So does a lot of Olympic athletes. But I wouldn't say you have to buy this. It's one recipe that has it, and then even then, it's optional. But I have it, so I'm going to show it to you. All right, but let's talk about some other things. So, nutritional yeast I try not to use. But it's almost impossible to make cheese sauce without it. So when I use it, I try to use it in smaller amounts. There's a whole cup of it in barefoot dressing, but barefoot dressing makes enough for a month, so you're not getting that much. The thing is, where it's used is kind of necessary for that umami flavor, and I don't know anything other than nutritional yeast that will do it. There are people that are allergic, that have certain GI things that can't have it. That's why I've tried to not use it in very many recipes, and when I've used it, make it optional and make it like only 4 tablespoons. But I like this brand as far as taste, Sari or Sari, S-A-R-I. You get it at Amazon. To me, it's just the best tasting. The thing is you want to get a non-fortified, at least that's what the medical doctors like Dr. Furman say. You don't want it fortified with the folic acid and the B vitamins. So nutritional yeast might be something you want to get for many of the recipes. But again, there's not that many recipes with it. The only one where I would say it's not optional is the cheese sauce, because that's what gives it the cheesy taste, and the barefoot dressing. So 2 recipes for that. Sun-dried tomatoes are in some recipes. I like the smoked ones. You just want to get one without oil and sugar and salt. And you can also make them yourself if you have a dehydrator, and you can get them online a lot cheaper. It takes 4 pounds of tomatoes to make this little 3-ounce bag of sun-dried tomatoes. Again, this has smoked flavor. I almost like smoked flavor because I like everything smoked. Be Mon Paz smoked vinegar. The other thing you can do is other brands like Just Tomatoes. You can get the tomato bits, and then you can just grind it in your Vitamix or a coffee grinder and make your own sun-dried tomato powder, or you could buy it at spice stores, so that's no problem there. So, I'm a big fan of Be Mon Paz vinegar. Chef Terry's going to be in Vegas with not only every flavor, but the new flavor she created just for the conference. Not everybody wants to order that because they feel the shipping is maybe too expensive, but I have every flavor, and I've interviewed her and I've showed you all the ones I love. So you might want to get at least one good quality reduced vinegar if you can't get Be Mon Paz, a very affordable go-to brand. And by the way, there's a resource page in my book with all my codes. Is the Napa Valley Naturals Grand Reserve. This is reduced. You could buy any balsamic vinegar. So for example, where is that vinegar that I had here? I was going to show you a little sample of vinegar. My husband got a salad at a place, and he got plain balsamic vinegar. And I just wanted to show you how watery it is, because you can reduce it yourself, but by the time you buy vinegar and reduce it, you're going to end up spending as much money as you would for this, which ranges from, I've seen it for as low as $6.99 and as much as $8.49. We get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at other markets. You can get it online with my code. It's pretty affordable for the amount. It's delicious. It's thick. It's syrupy. There's no sugar. It's just grapes. It's reduced. And this is the one, my go-to for people that don't want to get the Be Mon Paz. So this is a really good one for the roasted Brussels sprouts, for the barefoot dressing. So that's that. If you're going to make like my cranberry relish, which is cranberry relish barefoot dressing, I love the pears in their own juice from Trader Joe's, because I like the jars, because I reuse them, not only for my teas that I'm always making different various infused teas, but also this comes off in the dishwasher. I use these jars as gifts when I'm making other people barefoot dressing. You can also get unsweetened pears all year round at every store in cans, but I really prefer jars. So that's a thing you might want to get, Bruce, or other people. I buy the stone ground mustard because that's what they use at a True North. Westbury, it's the only one that's salt free, and I buy it by the case on Amazon. It's very cheap and they deliver within 2 hours. If you think you're going to make my millet salad, which is spectacular, magnificent millet medley, you might need a little bit of canned pineapple in its own juice, or fresh if you can get it. Always want to have some quinoa. Sharon McRae just sent me this toasted quinoa. I cannot wait to taste it, but I always have sprouted quinoa on my shelf. So that's, I know some of these aren't spices, Bruce, but I figured you might want to know everything, and we're going to get to all the spices here. Chia seeds, not in a lot of recipes, but in a couple, and you can get them. Let's see. Millet, one of my favorite grains. It's an underused grain. It's delicious when cooked, especially for people that are avoiding rice, and it's in a few of the dessert recipes. So millet is fantastic. Looks like birdseed. Some kind of gluten-free oats. I always get the organic and the extra thick cut because they're more toothsome and I like them. As I mentioned, I always have grains in the freezer. I always have this, and I always have grains that I cook. So last night when we had the cauliflower bisque, I made wild rice. I ate some, I refrigerated some, and I put 4 cups in a bag and I froze some. So I always have that going on. And if you're gonna make my beanless bean burgers, black rice, fantastic. That's something you might wanna have. This is only in 2 recipes. A lot of people say they have trouble finding it. Our Costco sells it really affordably in this big jar. Dried mushrooms. It's optional in both recipes, but what you can do if you can't find it at your Costco, Asian markets generally have this very affordably. So that's a really good thing to have. If you're doing anything like my cram muffins or any of my more desserty type things, you always want to have some unsweetened applesauce in your house. That's not a bad idea right there. Okay, so spice-wise, parsley flakes. I get a lot of my spices at Costco and they last a really long time, and then I reuse the containers. So I recommend parsley. I recommend cinnamon. There's all different kinds of cinnamon. Salt-free chili powder. It doesn't say salt-free, but it is. And I really recommend this brand if you can find it for my recipes because it's very mild. I love Benson's Table Tasty spices, but man, hers are hot, and so is Penzeys Chili 8000. This is a really mild one that's perfect for the Chipotle bean burgers, so I really like this one from Whole Foods. Really important if you're going to do my recipes to have smoked paprika, which is different than Hungarian or sweet paprika. This is the one I get at Costco. It's the most affordable. It's fantastic. If you ever get a chance, smell the smoked paprika and smell regular. You'll see it's a world of difference. We do this in my cooking classes. The next one is September 16th if you live locally. But I like to invest in some higher end spices occasionally, so I'll buy smoked paprika from Savory and this really amazing brand that you get online, bourbon smoked paprika that Sabrina Nelson told me about. A little bit of red pepper. We're going to use that today actually in one of the recipes. Some garlic powder. I don't use it a lot. I use fresh garlic mostly, but garlic powder and onion powder, when you're doing something like a cheese sauce, you have a little bit more depth of flavor when you use the dried spices. A lot of times also if you combine them with fresh. So these seem to last a really long time. I don't use them quite as much. They're also good for making the scored potatoes like they have at True North. Little bit of ginger. I prefer fresh ginger, but in certain one of my soup recipes, I have this. And it's the same thing with turmeric. I prefer it fresh, but a couple of my recipes have the dried turmeric. Cardamom. This is expensive, but it lasts a long time, and I generally only call for 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon in the recipes. Curry powder. Oregano. Get a bigger thing at Costco. Basil or basil. Rosemary, thyme, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Nutmeg. The nutmeg's only necessary if you, things like the cram muffins, I'll use it, and like if I can't find the apple pie spice or the pumpkin pie spice, I use a combination of the cinnamon and nutmeg. People to find. McCormick sometimes still carries it, but any regular cumin is fine. and dill weed, especially if you're going to make the cauliflower bisque, which is delicious, and chipotle powder, which is just, chipotle is a smoked jalapeno. It's probably one of my favorite spices in conjunction with smoked paprika when you're doing salt-free cooking, if you want things with a lot of flavor. And then of course my very favorite salt-free seasoning, which is Benson's Table Tasty. So all my recipes that have Benson's Table Tasty, and there's not that many, it's mostly the soup recipes, were done using this. So if you don't use this, it probably will still be good, but it won't taste exactly like mine. I like it because I'm allergic to black pepper, and even before I found out I was allergic, I didn't like it, so this is amazing. But she has a new one. Actually, she has 2 new flavors that she created for the Live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference, which we still have a few seats left, and a live stream. She has a roasted garlic one that's even better than the original. So that's basically like the things I think that could be very important to your success if you're wanting to do. Oh, now I found the vinegar. You can just see how like watery this is, and when you see us, you can see, you'll see when we use this later, this is really thick and syrupy. So I'll show you a few more things. I mean, one of the things is, you know, there's fruit in the house, frozen fruit as well. I always have bananas at various stage of ripening, some in the freezer, some kind of green, some in the middle. I think this is probably too ripe. I just wouldn't go quite that far. So, you know, if people are enjoying this, I can show them. I have way many more spices than what I'm showing you. I have a whole bunch more seasonings because I teach classes and I want people to have options. So these 2 things here, for example, this is just another example of rolled oats that aren't thick cut. This is something that's in one recipe is optional, but if you are following a salt-free diet and people worried about getting iodine, you get it from sea vegetables, and these smoked dulse, which you get at seaveg.com, that's closed for the month of August in Maine, is my favorite. It's very, very flavorful, very, very salty. This whole thing is just nothing but salt-free seasonings. So I don't really need to necessarily go into the whole thing unless you guys want to see it. Do they want to see all my spices? Otherwise, I'll get cooking. They don't want to see the spices. Then I'm not going to show them. But I will show this one because it's kind of cool, jalapeno pepper. That's pretty good if you need some spice.
Oh, someone said, yes, show us all the spices.
Okay, then we're going to show the spices. So this is from Costco. It's McCormick. It's a salt-free garlic and herb blend. This is one I know Mary McDougall talks about. Costco has an organic salt-free seasoning, and at Trader Joe's it's called 21 Salute. This one, it's just got my name. That's why I liked it, AJ's. One of the things you can do is just buy celery that's been dehydrated without salt and then put it in your grinder, because celery tastes a lot like salt. And you can even buy it like the powder. You can get the sea vegetables, which have a naturally occurring sodium at any Whole Foods, kelp and dulse, especially if you like make the faux tunas. Sharon McCrae gave me this one. It's just a good salt-free seasoning. If I had my glasses on, I would tell you what's in there, but I can't read it. What else? This is something called Dragonera. This is a salt-free seasoning. Mrs. Dash has a whole line of seasonings. This one is a southwestern one that's really good. You can see that I'm going to just take these out. Benson's Table Tasty just has so many flavors. The thing is most of them have black pepper, but you can see and by the way, black pepper is a certainly legitimate salt-free spice, but you can just see how many different varieties there are. There's sun-dried tomato powder that you can get already made. Here's another one from Benson's. I have the whole line. Oh, here's another one. Boy, and then she's making a chipotle smoked paprika for me as well. This is a wonderful seasoning from Savory, which is an onion and garlic seasoning. This is a nice herb mix from Whole Foods. So there's just, look, every time, another one from Benson's. So there's just so many salt-free seasoning, guys, that are absolutely delicious. And actually, there's even more because I got this one too. And the funny thing is I don't use very many seasonings. So Lori and UWL sent me this. This is really cool. It's a grinder, and with all these different vegetables in it. The thing is it says spices, and when I called the company, it said black pepper, and I tasted it, and I kind of knew it probably had black pepper. But I love the idea of it, so I was thinking of trying to make my own. with these dehydrated spices that Pam sent me. I was hoping she would watch to give a link, but she sent me onion and bell pepper and kale and celery, and I was thinking of kind of making my own thing, so that would be fun. There's a place I teach in Ojai, a spot called the Oaks, that sells the most incredible seasoning. This is one of my favorites after Benson's. It's just really good on things, and this is fun, just having freeze-dried scallions, things like that. Now, Chef Terry, who does the Be Mon Paz vinegars, also has a line of salt-free seasoning, and she's going to make some for me. She made them without pepper. Hers are also very good. Nature's Rules, Rocket Blend, and mushroom powder. So her stuff is great. Mustard powder, something that I use occasionally. What else do we have here? I never really, this is in one of my recipes, Poultry Seasoning. It's a terrible name for a spice, but it's sage and things like that. Coriander, I don't use too much. Don't think I've ever used this, Herbes de Provence, but that would be good on the roasted vegetables and cloves. So there's hundreds of spices, guys, that you can use without ever having to use salt, and they're all delicious. So today is August 1st, and we are starting a 30-day challenge called By Any Greens Necessary, where we're encouraging all the participants in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program to eat greens every single day as their first meal a day. Now, we always eat vegetables for breakfast, but not everybody eats the powerhouses, the nutritional powerhouses of the leafy greens. So we're not doing broccoli and cauliflower, we're doing all the leafy greens like beet greens and chard and arugula and there's more there, cabbage. What are the leafy greens? I forget, I posted a list. So if you want to join in the challenge, if you didn't eat your greens today, you can do it like we're doing right now for dinner, and start tomorrow with greens. Your life will change, especially if you have cravings or food addictions or wanting to lose weight, and put a few drops of vinegar on it, like Dr. Esselstyn says, to increase that nitric oxide. So I'm going to show you a recipe that even people that don't like greens love. It's called Lip Smackin' Mouthwatering Kale, and it's on page 128 of my book. So we're going to start out with some onion that I've already chopped, and I've been lately just using the white onion from Costco, because you can get like this huge bag of like, I don't know, 16 onions for like $5, and they're delicious. I don't worry about organic because we're not eating the peel anyway, and these make me cry less than when I cut the red onion, which, by the way, I do love red onions, especially in my salad. Oops, this one.
Is there a difference in flavor?
Yeah, there is a difference in flavor. They're both good, but these are sweeter, basically. But you know, when you caramelize them, even the red ones get sweet. So this is my spoon rest that I made. I'm taking glass fusion classes, just so you know. So what I'm doing is the pan is getting hot. I always preheat the pan. I'm using a non-stick pan, and again, you know, if you don't want to use nonstick, you don't have to criticize me for using nonstick. I'm not worried about it. We're going to talk about criticizing me a little bit later and how I feel about it and what happens if you do. I mean, not if you criticize me, but it depends on what you say, because some of the stuff is like, it's quite kind of interesting, actually. I have to ask Doug Lyle about why people do that. Anyway, so what we're going to do is start by having a hot pan. And again, if you don't want to use nonstick, use whatever pan you have, stainless steel, waterless cookware. I don't recommend, I can't remember what Dr. Barnard says in his book, Power Foods for the Brain, if we're not supposed to use aluminum or cast iron or both. But
I think it's both.
Both. That's what I thought too. It's been a while since I read it. So anyway, I'm preheating the pan, and then I know it's ready when the water can go like this. When I get a close-up of this, how these little beads roll around. See how it does that?
And we're not using oil.
Never using oil. Oil is for cars, not for people. So I already shot 2 videos. If you look on this page, consider, not on this page, sorry, you're watching Facebook Live. But once it gets on YouTube, if you subscribe to me, Chef AJ, you'll never miss the live things that I do, or the ones that aren't live. But I did do 2 videos or 3 the last week where I caramelized onion without oil. So you just put it in the pot or the pan, and we're just going to let it do its thing, always using purple. I like the shape of this saute pan from Pampered Chef because it just can get the onions from all sides. So I'm only going to add water or non-sodium vegetable broth if I feel it needs it. And by that we'll know, because it'll start to kind of stick, but it really won't stick. This is the greatest tool ever invented. I use it every day for Bailey because she likes her carrots fresh. So I'm taking garlic, which I buy at Trader Joe's because it's just, I just can't stand getting it under my fingers and peeling it. Even though I know the techniques, it's just so much easier to do this. So I've got my garlic. When I use the garlic press, it always gets stuck in the holes. I never can really get it fully clean. So I really love this tool, and it's part of the Power Chef Pro. There we go. There we go. And then you just pull the string, and you can mince it as fine or as coarse as you like. So it's going to go in after the onions are caramelized. I don't want to put the garlic in too soon because garlic will burn. So you can see how nicely it did this. Much easier than using a knife. And when you use the garlic press, so much of it gets wasted. And this is a really cool tool. So one of the things we're going to add in this recipe that is not in the book, just because I like it, and you like things spicy too, right, Eden? Just going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes. And, you know, I think I might add a little oregano today. I don't know why, because I feel like it. So one of the things I'd like to encourage you to do is to not be afraid and just cook. I understand, like, that you want recipes, but the best recipes are the ones you make up. And if you're always going to rely on recipes, you're never going to gain the skill to just learn how to improvise. And yes, not everything will maybe be delicious, but if you start with healthy ingredients, it's not going to be bad. And especially if you're not addicted to animal products and processed food, and you've neuroadapted so that you don't require so much stimulation from the sofas, sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, and salt, everything you make is probably going to be pretty good. You know, the spices, there's a learning curve. You'll learn how much and what you like. You know, the best tip I can give you is that you can always add, you can never take away. So in other words, even people using salt, you always want to start out with a smaller amount than you think you need, because you can always add, and things should be to taste. So for example, even if your family isn't going to be salt-free, or maybe you're not going to be salt-free, why cook with salt? Why cook with oil? Add these things at the finish at the table. Well, maybe not so much oil, but you know, people that eat salt, they vary in how much salt they like. I have a friend that salts everything before tasting it. Some people like a lot, some people like a little, but when you cook with it, whether it's in a soup or a recipe, it dissipates. If you're going to use salt, why not buy the most expensive, best salt you can and use it gingerly at the table where the taste buds on the tip of your tongue can taste it. So I really encourage you to rely less on recipes, especially if you're somebody that's overweight, that wants to lose weight, or suffering from food addictions. Because while variety may be the spice of life, it's also, as Heather Goodwin, who's lost 300 pounds, says from the Butterfly Effect plant-based weight loss, variety is the spice of obesity. And if you could learn to enjoy food and meals instead of recipes, your life will be so much easier. And look, I write books and I want you to buy them, and I have friends that write books. But if you're really struggling, stop chasing recipes. You know, we have all these like clubs and systems, like exclusive recipes, $29 a month. The only recipe you need is preheat oven to 400 and bake a potato. That's the only recipe you need. You can be happy and healthy the rest of your life, seriously, especially if that potato is a Hana yam or a Japanese sweet potato or a Hawaiian sweet potato or a Stokes. So think about eating on a plate or a bowl. Think about having a starch, like a grain, like a type of potato or sweet potato, or a winter squash, like a butternut or a delicata. Think about having, or a bean, or a, you know, think about having a starch. Think about having a green. Today we're going to be using kale. And think about having some kind of a, what else can go on the thing? You want to, a sauce, some kind of a sauce, like yummy sauce. You know, yummy sauce in my book probably has 40 variations. So think about that. Now hopefully this will be ready in time to show the class before the broadcast is over. If it's not, I don't know if we can then reshoot it with the camera. But anyway, so we'll go back, we'll hope that that's ready. So anyway, once it starts browning, I just start moving it around. You can see how quickly it gets browned. And if you're worried that it sticks, and it's not, I just take just the tiniest bit. And it's not going to stick anyway because it's a non-stick pan. But you can do this, guys, with a regular pan. So we'll just let it go a little bit longer. So I've said this before, that everything starts with an onion, especially salt-free cooking, in my opinion. You need it for flavor. And then these onions are absolutely delicious. If you caramelize these like this, This makes a delicious addition to anything. Like if you make carrot dogs for your kids, Faith Scott showed you how in a previous episode. Or if you are making any of the 4 bean burger recipes or beanless bean burger recipes from my book, these make a delicious condiment for them. And if you don't want to use a pan, in unprocessed, there's a recipe to caramelize onions in the oven. So we'll just let this go. Since me and Eden are going to eat this right after it's over, we want to have it caramelized, right, Eden? We don't want to rush it. Hey, and by the way, Elizabeth, if you're watching, get well soon. And we're going to come visit you in the hospital as soon as we're done eating. Not as soon as, that's why we like doing the broadcast at this time, because we can just go right into dinner. So we'll let that go a little longer. And so let's just talk about criticism for a minute. So there's a commercial on television for getting kids to eat more fruits and vegetables. And I think the mother says, my house, my rules. My page, my rules. So this is not a court-ordered broadcast. You don't have to watch it if you don't care for me or my style or my recipes. So I have now a zero-tolerance policy for negative comments. And by negative, I don't mean you can disagree with me if you don't like onion. I'm talking about when you make a comment that has no place in the context of what I'm trying to teach, it not only gets deleted, but you get banned from my page, or worse, hidden. Because see, when you're banned, you know. But when you're hidden, you think you're communicating, but you're not. And that's whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. And by the way, if you're trying to get a rise out of me, I don't see the negative comments. I have an assistant named Ginger who we trade for weight loss coaching that I answer every email personally, which is why sometimes it takes so long, because right now I'm down to 1,200, literally. I get over 200 emails a day. So I do answer them all personally, but she screens them first. So if it's negative, I don't see it, number one. So you're not going to get a rise out of me. If you want to engage in negativity, there's a whole free group called the McDougal Boards, where they have the I Hate Chef AJ Club, and then you can go bash me all you want there. But if it's on my YouTube page, if it's on my Facebook page, it's going to go away, and probably so are you. So I do see some of the comments. So she shares the ones that are funny, like the most recent one is, you need to gain 10 pounds because your arms are like toothpicks. Okay, so these are toothpicks. Just so you guys know, these are toothpicks. These are arms. So I just want to show you the difference between an arm and a toothpick.
Pretty big difference.
So, big difference. So that's there. And, and I don't think you should be bashing somebody's physical appearance, whether you think they're too heavy or too thin. And some of you are bashing some of the guests that I have on the show because maybe you feel they're not an appropriate way to teach this stuff. Now, I can understand if they were actually teaching weight loss, but if they are offering delicious recipes or other things, that's not a reason. And those comments about other people, too. It's not just about me. You comment about other people. That's going to go away as well. So, let me just finish this off and tell you.
Lots of laughing emojis.
Yeah, good. Good. And then the other thing, I love the comments about how I should remodel my kitchen or get a new kitchen. If you would like to buy me a new kitchen, I'd be happy to do all my videos in it. But I live in an apartment and I rent it. And in the lease, it says I can't make any modifications. So that's the other thing that they're saying. So these look pretty good to me now, Eden. So now I'm going to add the garlic. And then we'll talk about whether or not I should, if you knew my medical situation, you wouldn't tell me that I should gain 10 pounds. Okay, so we're going to add the garlic now. So we don't want to saute garlic too long so that it'll burn. There we go. And some mushrooms. I probably should have put the mushrooms in first, but that's okay. Mushrooms have a lot of water. They'll cook down very quickly. And like I say, even people that hate greens generally love this recipe. So we're going to get those mushrooms. You know what? I'm just going to cover this so it'll cook a little bit more quickly and talk about why I'm not going to gain 10 pounds, just to make you happy. So I weigh 117. I've maintained it effortlessly, eating huge quantities of delicious food for 5 years. But during my weight loss journey, I did actually weigh 10 pounds more. I weighed 127. I was a 6 instead of a 4. I looked fine. And to some people, I probably did look better. I was curvier, and I know that Dr. Lyle talked about last week's broadcast that some guys prefer curlier girls. But I also have a knee that's hanging on by a cartilage that's this close to requiring surgery. And I go to probably one of the best well-known orthopedic doctors in California who does all the sports teams. And he's the one, I've interviewed him, says that every pound we're overweight, and not that I was overweight at 127, it was perfectly normal, but for somebody with a compromised knee or any kind of joint, every pound more you are is 5 pounds to the knee. So you may think I need to gain 10 pounds. Dr. Bletcher thinks that I need to stay where I am or even lose a few more pounds, because 10 pounds is 50 pounds when you got a knee that's completely deranged. So if you want to know why I'm not going to gain 10 pounds, that's why. So think before you speak. And JP always said it should be called the Love and Compassion Program, UWL. So think about when you make these ridiculous comments about me or my guests or my kitchen. Is it kind? Is it necessary? Does it do anything to further humanity? And I wonder, the people, it's funny because on somebody else's page, if you want to really go to the Chef AJ I Hate You Club, on Rich Roll's page, he doesn't even check it, by the way. There's another contingency there. But then I think about these people that say these things, and what are you guys doing in the world? Not you guys that are watching me, but the ones that are making the negative comments. What do you do in the world? I volunteer. I work full time, and I still volunteer 5 hours a week. What are you doing to make the world a better place, or humanity? And it's funny, people say, Chef AJ charges, for her program. Well, I don't know any of you guys that go to your job for free, but I do a lot for free. These take a lot of time. Eden and Kenny, they volunteer their time. What may seem like an hour to you is 4 hours in real time until we shop and prep and cook and clean the kitchen and upload and download. I don't make any money from these. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a blogger. I do these because people write me every day saying, please show me how to make delicious recipes. And the funny thing is I just won the award for, I was inducted into the Vegetarian Hall of Fame, vegan for 41 years. I didn't make a single penny from being vegan until 2009. My first money was in June of 2009 when Dr. McDougall hired me to present it at Celebrity Chef Weekend, and I still have that check. Well, I don't have the check. I took a copy of the check, $500. So anyway, I'm just, I'm getting to the point where people aren't starting to be nice. I'm just gonna go to the desert and just sit with Bailey in my house. So there we go. This is ready now. We could do the onion. Oh, doesn't this smell good, Eden?
It does.
Oh my God. And by the way, this is a recipe right here. Onions, garlic, and mushrooms. And by the way, if you're following Dr. Furman, G-Bombs, this is going to have the G, the O, the M, the green, the onion, the mushroom, and I think that Dr. Greger has something similar. So, I could go a little further on the mushrooms. So, just because I really want it perfect since we're eating it. So, are there any questions live? And hoping that this gets ready in time. Nobody has any questions on weight loss, on recipes?
Mostly just comment. Oh, Elizabeth is watching.
Hey, Elizabeth, we're going to come see you. We're going to stop. Elizabeth, you said you wanted potatoes, so we found a Wendy's in Thousand Oaks. And Elizabeth, how many do you want? We were going to get you 4, but tell me how many baked potatoes you want. Guys, it's ready. I am so excited. You're going to be able to see this in real time. Okay, so it's ready. So I'm going to release the pressure. I'm so happy. I've got 2 big things of chard in my refrigerator, organic rainbow chard, that I may add to this. I should have cut it up, but we'll see. But since we're having green, that may not be necessary. I'm surprised there's not one question on weight loss or anything. Wow. I guess because I haven't done live. So now I'm going to add this bag of organic chopped kale. It's already washed. Boy, it may not all fit. This is bigger than the bag from Trader Joe's. But me and Eden eat a lot of veggies, so I'm going to get it all in. This is the curly kale. The Trader Joe's is the dark kale. Is it Lacinto or Lacinato or something like that? So I'm going to cover this so it's going to cook faster. I'm actually going to add a little bit of water so it'll steam it. So there we go. is a 12-ounce bag of kale. I wonder if they have the nutritional information. Nope. All right. So this will be ready in no time. By the way, this what we're making, what's called lip smacking, mouthwatering kale, we're going to eat it by itself because I don't think we have any starch ready right now. But it would be fantastic. Like if you eat pasta, it would be great over pasta. You know what it would be great over if I thought about it in advance? It would be amazing over these. That would be absolutely amazing. It's an amazing filling for a baked potato or a baked sweet potato. So it's really good. So again, this is going to take a little bit of time because the fuller the unit, the longer it takes to release the pressure. Now, I always hit my greens with a little bit of lime juice. This is organic bottled lime juice, maybe 2 tablespoons, the equivalent of a lime. Supposedly, not supposedly, vitamin C helps you absorb the iron in the greens. And because Eden's here and she really likes spicy stuff, we're going to add some red pepper and we're going to add some oregano. So, and I always finish everything with a good quality reduced balsamic vinegar. I like to put it in this thing because it makes I can do a prettier plating and it's just more focused. But again, be mon paz if you can buy it. When I'm doing this, there's a few flavors that are absolutely incredible on this. The smoke infused, which tastes like barbecue sauce, the white garlic, and the garlic cilantro are my favorites when I make this dish. Okay, so you can see it's starting to get nice and green. I like mine not too cooked. How about you, Eden? A little bit more? I mean, it's up to you. I can eat it really cooked or not cooked.
Probably more cooked.
A little bit cooked. So now I'm going to just stir it around a little bit. This looks so, the word is verdant, I think, bright green. Oh, how could anyone not like this? And what's nice about the Whole Foods prepackaged organic is it's kind of in bite-sized pieces already. When I get the Trader Joe's bag, I sort of have to cut it up myself. But then again, you can strip it like Ann Esselstyn has taught us and do your own kale. But this is just such, I mean, to me, this is like, this should be enough for both of us, right, with the other dish? I mean, I probably could eat the whole thing. But so the top's going back on.
So we did get one question.
Sure.
Any idea why red onions upset my stomach, but white ones don't?
You know, I don't know, but I can tell you that they upset my eyes and white ones don't. So in other words, when I'm chopping them, I just cry like crazy. And the white ones not so much. So there must be something in it that's stronger. I don't know the answer, but it's good that you know and you can avoid them. They are very flavorful if you can have them. But I don't know. You know, maybe Dr. Goldhammer, I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know what it is. There's probably some compound in them, the one that's upsetting my eyes, that's upsetting your stomach. Oh, wow, look at this. So this looks amazing. I'm going to dump this out, okay? I need to grab a bowl, so maybe just talk to people for a second. I need to grab a big bowl from the counter.
Too bad you guys don't have smell-o-vision. Yum, yum, yum. It smells really good. Give you a close-up.
I'm getting a big bowl so that I can dump it out. Doesn't that look great? Now, guys, this was 0 minutes. When I made this recipe on Sunday, I didn't know I was supposed to release the pressure immediately, and I texted my friend in Washington, and she said, no, release it immediately. So I wasn't home. So I got home in 30 minutes, and it wasn't discernible, distinct vegetables, but it was delicious. And I was using beets, so the broth was absolutely incredible. So I'm going to dump it out. I'm putting it in this bowl. I couldn't find the big glass one. I didn't want to waste your time. So, oh man, look at that. Oh, you got to get a pressure cooker, guys. All right. So these can be eaten all during the week. And, oh, look at the squash. So it's not real mushy. And we could add some of the chard to it. And you see 1 cup of water, it's still left plenty of water in it. I'm just going to smush the onion up. I could have cut the onion smaller, but I didn't. It's not too late now. So these are going to be delicious just to eat as vegetables during the week. And again, if you want it more schmutzy, just don't release the pressure right away. Just let it come down naturally. And, you know, you could use a little less water, but you need, I think, a little bit of water for it to cook. So we're going to love, this is going to be delicious, and we're going to eat this. And if you need some starch even, I can cook up some rice. Oh, I actually have wild rice already made, so we can eat it over wild rice. Doesn't this look amazing, you guys?
Does.
Oh, you guys, go away so we can eat. No, just kidding. So, this is going to be our dinner. Oh, God, I can't wait. And again, this is different every time, guys. There's no recipe. It's whatever you like. But I do recommend, at least from my perspective, that there always be an onion in there and there always be some kind of a starch.
We got a comment that says, I need help making veggies flavorable.
Well, ask them if they have my book, number 1. And number 2, if they did try the roasted vegetables, because the oven, this is ready, guys, by the way, so I'm going to take it off the heat now. I am going to hit it with just the smallest amount of lime juice just to get that vitamin C thing going. I'm going to hit it with just a little oregano, just a sprinkle, not a lot. And I don't like things as hot as Eden, so just a little red pepper, but it's going to be nice. Oh my God. Oh God, smell it. We'll eat this first. So just want to mix it up real good so that I get everything mixed. And then I'll plate it. And then we will eat it. How could you not like this? Oh my God. Look at how delicious that looks. So let me get a plate. Do you want everything on one plate or do you want it on a different plate?
Sure, it can all be on one.
All right. So we can always add your wild rice onto it later if you want, because it's right behind you. So let's plate this up. Eden works very hard. We appreciate Kenny. And by the way, should I say it? No. Just don't be bashing on my Kenny, guys, you know. Seriously, like that's not going to get you any points. By the way, Kenny is single and he will be at the live Ultimate Weight Loss
Single and
Conference.
ready to mingle.
Yep, absolutely. So here we go. OMG. This is like fit for a queen. I probably should have cut the onions a little smaller. I'm sorry, Eden.
No, it's okay.
But anyway.
Someone said, I've been doing high carb, low fat, and I'm gaining weight. Help. Well,
What are
what
they
are you eating?
Well, we just had an interview with Dr. Lyle last week, and that's not possible unless they're eating sugar.
Well, they're maybe eating a lot of processed stuff that's
Yeah.
higher in calorie
Yeah,
density.
it's possible if you're not eating to the left of the red line. So when you're saying you're eating carb, low fat, are you eating dried fruit? Are you eating flour? Are you eating sugar? Are you eating salt? Because if you're eating to the left of the red line, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, if you're eating at a caloric density of less than 600 calories a pound, it is impossible to gain weight. So I'd like to know exactly what you're eating. If you're in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, post a 3-day food diary. So let's see what this looks like.
Someone said, how do you make yourself draw the line? My environment cannot be secured.
Well, then I guess you're screwed. I don't know what to tell you, because you watch my 2 webinars on mastering the environment. If it's in, with the exception, there's only 2 exceptions. If you're in jail, and if you're in a renting situation with a roommate. Because if it's your family that's not going to support you, then that's a problem. Because a loving family member, whether it's a child or a spouse, will support a loved one in recovery. And if you come to the Live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference, there'll be a special session just about that. They need to eat the food outside the home, and if they absolutely refuse, then the only other alternative is they have to get a locked food safe and a locked refrigerator, because your environment is the #1 predictor of your success. If it's in your house, it's in your mouth, and it's not a question of if you will eat it, only when. Willpower is only required when you have to make a decision, and you don't have to use willpower to decide what's not to eat, what's there. So without further ado, this is in my house, and very soon this will be in my mouth. So please try the Lip Smackin Mouthwatering Kale from page 128 of the Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. If you have any questions that you'd like answered on future broadcasts, please email me at eatunprocessed.com, and please be kind. Think before you post. One more question?
Yeah, BJ said, Eden, find out if AJ needs the lid to that pan she must be talking about.
Oh, the Pampered Chef pan? Maybe. Yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea. I know BJ just had a Pampered Chef party. That's so cool. You know, I think I might need that. I'm using a different lid. Not a bad idea. So, unlike Kenny, Eden doesn't eat on the air, so she'll have to tell you afterwards in the comments it was good. So it's great connecting live with you guys again. Thanks so much for watching another episode 85 of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I truly believe you can have both the health and the body you so richly deserve. Thanks for watching, and come to Vegas or get the live stream. Bye for now.